Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today's project is for the Vicki Boutin design team, and this week it's all about fall for the blog, for Vicki's blog. So today my project is going to be a mix between feathers and leaves, colors of the fall, and vellum. So first of all, I am using this cut file. These feathers come from, I cut them out of white cardstock using Paige Evans geometric feather cut file. Now my idea, what I want to do is I want translucency on the feathers, and I love working with vellum, and in a previous project I actually added glaze to the vellum just to give me that translucency and to bring interest to the vellum. And I thought that I could probably do the same thing using art crayons. And my idea is I want to bring all the tones of an ombre effect on the background of the feather using vellum. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually working with the stencil brush and all the warm tones of the art crayons to give me sort of an ombre or a gradation of the colors on the vellum. Now, if you have worked with vellum before, then you gotta know that, or if you haven't worked with vellum, sorry, it's that vellum tends to curl really fast when you add liquid. So you gotta be very careful. So like I said, my best way to color vellum is with a color pencil. And in this case, I thought maybe I can use the art crayon. I'm not adding any water to it. It'll be like adding ink. I've worked this with ink before and it curled. So I'm gonna try with the art crayon. And this is all I'm doing. Now, vellum can be very tricky as it's very slippery. So my choice was to add a little bit of washi tape to just make sure that it stays static in a way so it doesn't move when I'm moving my stencil brush. And all I'm gonna do is, like, again, I'm using the warm tones of the art crayon. I have peach, I have this ochre yellow, I have maroon, I have a little bit of red. You're gonna see that I bring a little bit of purple and a little bit of fuchsia too. So all I'm doing is picking up color with the stencil brush, and then I'm gonna go in a circular motion onto the vellum just to make sure that I pretty much transferred the pigment from the brush onto the vellum. And I'm not cleaning the brush in between because I want to make sure that the colors combine. And you're actually going to see at the vellum the circular motion of the brush. And I'm trying at best to make sure that the colors combine. Not the easiest thing because, like I said again, vellum is a little bit tricky to work with, but I'm loving the way this turned out. Love the fact that I know that I can actually color vellum using the art crayons, and I don't have to add liquid to it, so I'll be able to control the curl of the vellum. Now, another thing that I want to let you know is that you see the colors that you see in nature right now. There's that little dark purple maroon color that we all love, and the best way to get to it is by mixing a little bit of the violet crayon with a little bit of fuchsia, and then it's going to give you this deep fuchsia purplish tone that is pretty much what you see before it gets to black in a sunset during the fall season. Now, as you can see, I love how the vellum turned out. So all I'm gonna do is actually back all the feathers with this vellum, and I want to make sure that some of the feathers are in different places because I want to make sure that it picks up all the colors. Now, one thing again, like I'm gonna say, because the art crayon has a waxy feeling to it, so you're gonna have to use quite a bit of glue to make sure that they don't come apart. Now, I had that done, and I love what this looks like. By the way, I love how the feathers turned out. But I wanted to bring a little bit more. There's a lot of white in them, and I think I want to bring a little bit more of that gold look of fall. So I'm gonna use a little bit of gold glaze just to think of it. I'm gold dipping the feathers. So all I'm doing is a little bit of glaze, picking up a little bit of the glaze with the stencil brush and just going on a circular motion just on the tips of the feathers. And like I mentioned before, when you add a little bit of a liquid onto vellum, it tends to curl. So it's gonna see that it's trying to come apart from the cutout. So all I'm doing is adding a little bit more glue and putting a little bit of weight so they stay together. Now, I didn't want to leave them just the feathers like gold in the tips. So what I'm gonna do is mix a little bit of the rose gold glaze with some of the gold glaze, and it's gonna give me that copperish tone, and I'm gonna use that for one of the feathers. And then I thought I want a different color for the third one. There's not gonna be that much of a difference, but you're gonna see that I bring a little bit of iridescent glaze, and it's gonna lighten up a little bit of the copper tone. And again, same thing, I mix them all together, then pick up the pigment, in this case the glaze, with my stencil brush and just go in a circular motion. I'm not gonna cover the entire feather, just the tip, just to bring more of those fall tones to the layout. And I'm gonna set it aside to dry. This doesn't take too long to dry because you're not adding water, so it's gonna take very little time to dry. If you're following this method, make sure you wash your brush, you clean your brush right away, because you don't want the bristles to stick together. So just use a baby wipe and just go at it until, in a circular motion, until you see the baby wipe come completely white, then you know you have cleaned your brush. Now all I'm doing is trying to give me an idea of how I want to set up the feathers in the background. And I have this idea that my idea was to have them sort of like if I tie them together and they're hanging. Now the only thing that now that I look in retrospect is that I should have made the feathers a little bit smaller. They're quite big, but I love them. Anyways, I love the way they look. For next time, I think I should have just cut them a little bit smaller. So to bring all the colors of the feathers, and also to have the picture pop, and it's a picture of my daughter with the baby, which is our dog, and my niece and nephew, and we live in Toronto, and there's a park right behind our building. We live in an apartment, so we take a lot of walks, especially in the fall. It's beautiful, and there's a river going through it. It's beautiful. So we take the kids, and they love it. So because my nephew is wearing blue, and I think a nice color to complement all the gold tones in the feather is gonna be blue, I'm gonna use a little bit of art crayon and water just to create the background. And it's a super simple background. All I did is dilute the crayon with a little bit of water. Add this is a foundation paper that has been gesso, and I'm adding a little bit of the pigment, lifting up the page and just tapping it on my desk so that the water naturally flows, and it's going to give you this kind of drip effect on the background that is actually going to not fit, but it's actually going to cover behind the feathers without going over. I'm not covering the entire page. I'm going to try to leave the rest of the page white. I just want enough coverage behind the feathers, just so the colors of the feather, or not the colors, but the feathers pop, and it gives me just this soft background that is not only going to make the feathers pop, but also the picture. Like I said, because my nephew is wearing blue, it's just going to bring the attention to the picture. And that's about it. Super simple background. I'm not gonna do much more than just add, like I said, a little bit of watercolor. And now one thing that I did add, and if you see my work, then you know that I love splatters, even though I think I overly worked them. I'm gonna bring the darker shade of blue and just add a few splatters. Think of it just to the tips of the feathers, so just to bring the extra color. And I'm gonna set it aside to dry. Because I'm not adding lots of water, it took no time to dry, but while it was drying, I used my time to actually stamp quite a bit of leaves. I use Vicki's new stamp set. I think it's called Escape the Ordinary. I can't remember. It's the one with the flowers and with the leaves in it. I use foundation paper. I stamped with archival ink because I know I'm gonna color them. So like I said, while the background was drying, I stamped all these leaves and fussy cut them because there's no dye that matches the leaves, just the flowers. So now all I'm gonna do is bring the colors of fall, the same colors that I used to color the feathers, I'm gonna use them to color the leaves. And I'm gonna show you a few, and I'm starting with the yellow ones, and I have a little bit of orange. You're gonna see that I mix a little bit, and I'm starting first with a wash. So I'm gonna use the lighter yellow, and then a lot of water. So I'm just gonna bring like a color, just add color onto the leaf. Once I am happy with what it looks like, you're gonna see that I'm gonna start picking a little bit more of the orange, just to kind of shade it and bring more of the deeper tones. And I'm actually gonna bring a little bit of red and a little bit, you're gonna see it, just to bring more of the full colors that you're seeing. And that's about it. Super simple. It did take a while to create this layout, and it's not because it's complicated. It's actually pretty simple. It's just there's a lot of pieces that come when putting this together. Now, one thing I had somebody ask me the other day is, how do you get to the color? You know, if you see the ephemera pack from the Field Notes collection, the tone of the green, it's like this darker green. Think of it a military green. So I said, okay, in the next video, I'm gonna show you. So I can't remember what your name is, and my apologies. But the way you get to the green is not by adding blue, it's by adding black. Because if you add blue to the green, you're gonna get to a teal. you want to add black to bring that shadow and to deepen the color. So you see that I have a few tones of green, and I'm adding actually some of the black crayon, diluting it, and that's going to bring me that darker green. Think of it when the leaves start to get burned before they go into brown. So it's that shade that is actually the one that it's prevalent in the leaves in the Field Notes collection ephemera. So I'm just show you a little bit of how I created the color, because somebody asked me and I used the opportunity to show you. I hope that helps. Now I'm gonna set that aside to dry, and while that's drying, I'm gonna actually start building a few layers for behind the picture, and it's pretty simple actually. First thing I did is I'm gonna use the 12 by 12 paper pad, and this paper here I think is called Document, and all I'm doing is bringing a little bit of the blue for behind the picture, just a small frame, because I know that I want the blue that I added in the background and the shirt my nephew's wearing to pop. After that, actually I've set the feathers in the way that I think it's gonna work for this layout, and I add a little bit of foam adhesive just to the tip, because I want just the bottom, the tips of the feathers to lift, and I'm gonna actually glue the other piece straight onto the layout. Now I wanted to bring more of that green tone to it, and I'm using one of the frames from the All the Good Things collection tag frame, just to and you see that I cut it because I just want the top of the picture to have this frame. I'm gonna add clusters of flowers underneath. Now one thing that I did is I add a little bit of foam adhesive behind the picture just to make sure that it pops from the feathers. And once it's set in place, I'm gonna bring all the leaves that I actually stamped and painted, and a few flowers from the ephemera pack from the Field Notes collection. And I'm just gonna bring I'm gonna build a few clusters behind the top right corner of the picture. Once I have that set, I'm gonna make sure that the leaves come look like they're coming from behind the feather and also from behind the picture. And then I'm gonna create another cluster on the other side, on the top left corner of the picture in this case. But I'm gonna make sure that this time the flowers look like it's coming behind the feather, behind the picture. So once I'm happy with that, I'm just adding a few leaves. There's a lot of those colors in the grass, not in the grass, but in the picture. My niece and nephew are standing and actually in a field. It was completely covered with leaves. So after that, I'm just gonna take advantage of the chipboard sticker and some of the puffy stickers just to add a few accents of red. And you're gonna see that I'm gonna make sure that I create a triangle on around the picture. And I'm taking advantage of, like I said, the stickers, the ephemera pack, just to add a few, like the clusters. Now one thing that I'm gonna do is add a few of the watercolor stickers. I'm gonna leave them white, just small words, just to add some sentiment to the clusters. And that's pretty much it. Once that's done, and that's pretty much all it needs, I don't think it needs anything else, there's enough going on. I'm gonna build my title, and I'm gonna take advantage of the word moments from the black puffy stickers from the Field Notes collection, but I wanted the word fall to work with it. And so I pulled out the All the Good Things puffy stick chipboard alpha stickers, but I didn't want to leave them black. I think it's gonna take a lot away from the picture. So all I'm doing is using a little bit of acrylic gel just to color them, and I'm gonna use the gold glitter just to glitterify in a way the letter. Sorry. And once that's done, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the acrylic gel again just to glue them straight onto the page. And that's pretty much it. You're gonna see that I'm gonna add a few lines of journal underneath the big cluster on the right side of the page, and I'm also adding a few sentiments from using Vicki's All the Good Things rotary stamp and some gold ink. And that's pretty much it. Love how this turned out. Like I said, the only thing that now that I look at it, I would have made the feathers a little bit smaller, but I do like the way it looks like. I actually really enjoy it now, but you know, my critical eye is working. I think I'll make them smaller, and that's about it. The only thing you're gonna see me right now is I'm using a little bit of the gold glaze. I'm diluting it, and I'm gonna use it sort of as Heidi Swap color shine just to add a little bit more gold around the page. And that's about it. I hope you try it. Try adding color to your vellum. Super easy technique. There's so much you can do with vellum. There's so much you can do with the stencil brush. I'm amazed every time that I use it. I think, what else can I do? And like I always said, one of the best ways to add mixed media to your pages without having a lot of the mess and controlling it. Try it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I would love to give you a hand. I hope you have visited Vicki's blog the entire week. The entire DT has been working on some amazing fall projects. And please join us on the Vicki Boutin community page. There's so much inspiration going on. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.